I'm delighted to welcome Marcel to the Talking Type 1 podcast. So, some of you might know Marcel from Blazin Squad if you are of that generation, like we are. Some of you might know Marcel from Love Island, but then there's also the Marcel who owns his own music development label where he's signing young artists. He has a YouTube channel called The Somervilles with his wife. Marcel is a new dad as well and is DJing up and down the UK and doing lots of other bits with Marcel. And doing lots of other bits with Blazin Squad. So Marcel, welcome to the Talking Type One podcast.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
Good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. It's been a long time. I've wanted to. So basically, when I first found out you were diagnosed with
Yeah.
Type One, I was keen to get you on the podcast. Then there might even be a couple of DMs on Instagram from me saying, "Come on the podcast. Come on the podcast." But here we are. And I've done. It's just over 2 years you've been living with Type One, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, so it was 2020, August 2020
Yeah.
that I got diagnosed. I had a DKA.
Yeah. So we will go into that part of your journey with Type One, but first, just want to say a quick thank you to Diabetes UK for making this conversation happen. And if you haven't heard of Diabetes UK, it's a really great charity in the UK. I'll include a link to their website in the show notes. And quickly before that as well, we'll do just a little bit of a bit of an icebreaker with just a few questions, quick fire questions, nothing too strenuous or anything like that. So first off, favorite football team.
Arsenal,
Yeah, I
of
already knew
course,
that. So yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
course.
good, yeah, 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 standard. Favorite player of all time, football player.
Oh, favorite player of all time. Do you know what? Like, there's so many. I've obviously
Yeah,
got so many Arsenal legends,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the person who made me support Arsenal, the person that I supported Arsenal for, was Ian Wright.
yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean. You gotta send your
yeah,
respect out to the uncles. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah,
right, he's
yeah.
the one.
Uncle Ian
Yeah,
inspired. I think he inspired a lot of young black men during that
a
time.
hundred
Just
percent, a
seeing
million percent.
someone like him on TV,
Yeah,
playing for Arsenal, and obviously I'm an Arsenal fan as well. So he definitely inspired me with the whole. I remember he used to wear the kit with his collar tucked in
yeah.
when everybody had it out. I remember that. I remember that. Favorite young player at the moment. So not player, young
Oh,
player. Yeah,
so my favorite young player at the moment is
yeah.
Gabriel Martinelli.
Cool.
100%. Literally, when he got signed, we signed him for little money,
Yeah, yeah,
and now everyone's looking at him like, oh, like
yeah,
these guys, they've got a player there, they've got a talent there, and he's just literally showing it. And obviously, like there's Saka as well, but
yeah,
I feel Martinelli for me is the one that's like I want to see him in the starting lineup every time. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. He's definitely improved. I just from last season, even season
Yeah,
before, it's just like I thought he was all right, but this season he's just stepped up
yeah.
to another level. Are Arsenal going to win the league?
Do you know what? Like, there's a lot of people out there like that are like, oh, do you know what? Like, obviously they're top of the league now, but Man
Yeah,
City
yeah,
are
yeah,
still gonna catch them and this, that, the other. Do you know what? Like, Liverpool beat Man City. If we can
yeah,
beat Man City and
yeah,
if we can
yeah.
get a result, if we can get a draw
Draw. Yeah,
in our two games against them. Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we can win the league. There's nothing saying that we can't. It's not like
yeah,
they're 100% gonna fall off. All we need to do is just sign a few players in the January, so we've
yeah,
got a
yeah,
good
yeah,
bit
yeah,
of depth. Then we're good. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. I think January is going to be big for us to see where we
Yeah,
are in the league. But even if we drop down to second,
yeah,
I still strongly believe, even going into that Liverpool game, I was like, we're better than them.
yeah. Literally.
I genuinely I feel the table doesn't lie. Apart from Man City might be slightly better than us, but
Yeah.
we are the best team in the country, and
Bro,
so
it's
I'm
facts. It's facts right now.
yeah, yeah. And I'm just looking at, and I think we can beat any team on that day. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Will be a good one.
That's it.
Um, favorite music artist.
My favorite music artist. Oh, this is complicated because I like make music. I listen to like a lot of different genres of music,
Yeah, yeah.
but my favorite current music artist I
Yeah.
would say is hmm. Oh, this is a complicated one. I would say This is a hard question. You know, my favorite. So this is where we're gonna go. This is where we're gonna
All
go.
right, all right, all
My
right, all right.
favorite UK.
All right, yeah, you okay,
Yeah,
okay,
my favorite UK
yeah,
music artist would be Dave.
okay,
I like Dave. I like Dave's tunes. I like his vibe. He's like I like the stuff
yeah,
that I feel like it's the music, the beats, all of those
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Like his
yeah,
whole whole thing
yeah, yeah,
is something that I'd listen to a lot.
yeah.
And then I don't even know who my favorite
Fair enough.
national artist
We
is. Like there's
we'll
too
move
many.
on. We'll move on. We'll move on. I was gonna. The next one was favorite song, but judging from the answer to the last question, that's not going to be an easy one. Or favorite? What are you listening to at the moment? Then
All right, so
what's
what
on
am I?
repeat?
No, let me just pull up the Spotify right now, and I'll tell you what's the last thing I was playing. Where is it? There we go. All right, all right, so I'm gonna throw it out there. Like, so
Yeah,
I'm like my wife is Portuguese in it, so I
yeah,
listen to a lot of Portuguese music as well.
cool.
Like, so there's a Portuguese artist called Plutonio, who's
Yeah,
got a song called Lisabona, and it's
okay,
literally Portuguese drill, and it's sick. It's crazy. It's like it's mad energy. But then at the same time, obviously I'm listening to Dave. I like Survivor's Guilt.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a deep tune for me. And also Potter Paper,
yeah.
Gangster Writers is one of my favorite songs at the moment.
Cool.
Just cause like it's like a I don't know, like it's like a movie. It's like a movie
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah,
you
yeah,
describe it, and the music, and it's
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Cool,
It's nice.
cool. A nice, an easier one to end on. Favorite holiday destination.
My favorite holiday destination. So it used to be Ibiza, but
Yeah,
now me and my wife went to the Dominican Republic
yeah, yeah, yeah.
earlier on this year, and it's literally paradise. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's the DR.
Cool, cool. Thank you for that. Thank you. And so just going back to your diagnosis story, which you touched on a bit, can you just talk us through that and what that was like for you? Because yeah, from doing the research, it was like a happy moment on one hand,
Yeah.
but then you got this on the other hand. So yeah, just talk to us about that.
Yeah. So literally, so even before I got the most amazing news I was ever gonna get, like me and my so it was during the lockdown, and hadn't been going to the gym, hadn't been thing. I was eating like just eating junk. Do you know what I mean? Getting
Yeah, yeah,
deliveries delivered and all that kind of stuff, and I was and just like just being like in lockdown mode. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then and for some reason like I could see that I was like losing weight. I could see that I was losing weight, and literally one of my friends I think the lockdown had just been lifted a little bit, and you could see people
yeah,
for thing. And like I remember like meeting my friend, and him going to me like, Mars, like you've lost a lot of weight, you know. And I was like, and I was noticing it, and like there's actually a video on our YouTube, and like when I look back at that video, I'm like, yo,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I look totally different. I like my face looks drawn, and like I'm skinny,
yeah,
and and there was like a build up, and then literally like the following week, my wife literally gave me the news that Mars,
yeah,
you're about to become a dad, and literally it
yeah,
was the best news. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like I was just super happy,
yeah, yeah,
and then I was like, all right, cool. Like I need to find out what's going on with me, because I don't wanna be having a baby, and I'm not, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not well. I was googling it, trying to figure out what was going on, and nothing was really like jumping out to me. And then I called the GP, and they gave me, and because it was during the lockdown, you couldn't go into the surgery, so you had to do like a phone consultation.
yeah,
And I was just trying to explain everything that was going on, and they were like, oh, all right, cool. We're gonna need you to come down and do a blood test. So I was like, all right, cool. So went down on the Friday to do the blood test. No, actually, no. I literally like I called on the Friday, and then lally the following day,
mm,
I had the DKA. So like so my blood
yeah,
test was meant to be on the Saturday,
yeah,
and literally the Friday
yeah, yeah,
it was the
yeah,
Friday night. It's like Saturday morning.
yeah,
It all just went crazy. Like I was projectile vomiting, like flipping, like I couldn't
yeah,
think. So then in the morning I called up and I called 111 and was like, well, my wife called 111 and was like, my fiance, he's not well. He's throwing stuff. He can't keep anything down. And they was like, oh, like maybe he's having an acid reflux. So they said to go and get Gaviscon. Went and got Gaviscon and just carried on like carried on and literally it was about an hour after the second time my like I was upstairs and I literally just like hit the floor and I couldn't move. Couldn't move. I would like my wife said I went grey. I couldn't move. So she called 111. They sent the paramedics out. The paramedic walked into my bedroom and was like looked at me and was like, he's diabetic. Like they could see from me he
yeah,
really she went he's diabetic, and literally like the last thing I remember is getting rushed. It was I remember walking out of my house and like the whole world just going white. I couldn't see nothing. It's
yeah,
been literally white. Then I remember being in the ambulance, looking up, seeing around the ambulance, blacking out again, and then getting rushed into the A&E and just having like 4 or 5 people just rushing around me, like just like jabbing me with this, jabbing me with that, and I remember thinking like, what is going? Am I dying? Like, is this actually what's happening to me? And it was like the most like intense, like like craziest day of my life. And I remember waking up the following day, and no, I think someone tried to call. So I think I had my phone on me, and I remember like waking up like late in the middle of the night, and like someone and try and calling my mum, being like, "Mum, I'm okay. I'm thinking," and then like literally like that's the last thing I remember. And then the following morning, like the doctors, they've moved me in the middle of the night. Then the doctors come in, and he's gone. So did you not know you was diabetic? And I was like, I didn't have a clue. I literally didn't
yeah,
have a clue I was diabetic. Like I'm 36, and you
yeah,
usually people with type 1, they either get it really
yeah,
young,
yeah,
or like, do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
He was like,
yeah.
a strange
Case kind of thing.
strange
No,
case.
in
Yeah,
a nice way.
yeah. You're a strange person.
Yeah, yeah,
No. So like, yeah, it was like it's a strange case for someone who's your age to just just get it. And it was like, oh, like had you been noticing anything weird throughout the thing? And literally, there's it's the 4Ts.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
the 4Ts.
yeah, yeah,
Literally, all of those telltale signs were happening. Like I was going to the toilet all the time.
yeah,
Like in the middle of the night, I was going to the toilet 4 or 5 times, and like,
yeah,
and I was thinking this is weird, but I was like, I
yeah,
don't know what's like maybe
yeah, yeah,
I've just got a weak bladder now. I don't know what's going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then I was drinking them big liter bottles of water, just
yeah,
like
yeah,
normal, just downing them. Like I was
yeah,
like, and then I was falling asleep in the middle of the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
All of these different things. I'm like, when I was googling all these things, yeah,
yeah,
like I wasn't googling them all together. So like,
yeah,
so it wasn't
yeah,
nothing was kind of like sitting into my head. And when I'm looking back, thinner is the final one. When I'm
yeah,
looking back, like all of those signs were there. Like, do you know what I mean? All of those signs were there, and like
yeah,
even explained it to the doctors. Like you would have thought they would have said, "Oh, you're probably diabetic," but
yeah,
they didn't. Like, and it was literally like me like having a DKA. The actual doctor said to me, like, obviously you're obviously like everyone knows that your blood sugar is meant to be between five
yeah,
and ten.
yeah,
That's the good area.
yeah,
My blood sugar was on like 70 something. Like
yeah,
so it was like hearing those things, and hearing how close I was to to like hitting a coma, or whatever it was gonna be. Like it was kind of like a mad shock to the system. So I was in the hospital for like a week. Like I was just like, oh, like, can I go home today? Can I go home today? It was like, no, like because there was one nurse called Anne who was in charge of trying to get my blood sugar back down to trying to balance it out, and she finally got there after like 3 days. But Like yeah, like and then the final 4 days I was just on the ward. They were coming in like checking my blood sugar every kind of thing, doing the finger pricks. You know when the finger pricks and it's like, oh, can I
Yeah,
change my fingers? Like and it's like no, like you
yeah,
gotta do these two, like do these two, and it was just like yo, like this, like I'd never been in hospital before in my life.
yeah,
Like it was the first time at 34,
yeah,
like going to this hospital, like and actually being in there for something. And I'd never, like that was the only other time I'd been was to like visit people or whatever it was. So I'd never been ill in my life, and it was just like, yo, it's like my whole life just changed
yeah.
from that day. In it, do you know what I mean? Like it was like forever now. I'm gonna have to deal with living
Yeah.
with type one.
That's a mad story to say the least. Like, there's so much going on there, and then just the whole, just that when you talk about just being in the room, and then that transition from the room to the ambulance, and then being in
Yeah,
hospital and all of that, that must have been like just
like
your mind must have just been all over the place. But then my next question would be, so after that settled down and you're in hospital, maybe the day or 2 or 3 days after, and you have a bit of time to yourself or whatever, what was in your mind? Like, it was like, okay, what's this? What's life gonna look like for me now? Did you think that when you were in hospital, or was that come a bit afterwards, and or has that come at different points as you're learning more about living with type one?
do you know what? Do you know what? It was definitely it was while I was there because I remember like the doctor coming around
Mm.
and him just basically explaining to me what type one diabetes was.
Yeah,
Like your pancreas doesn't create insulin anymore. You're gonna have to use a long lasting insulin throughout the to last you through the day. Then you're gonna be using the fast insulin when it's you're gonna be having to use your fast working insulin but before you eat any food. You gotta check your blood sugar before you eat just to make sure how much you need to take in. You've got to calculate the amount of carbs to this, and you're hearing all of this information,
yeah,
and you're literally going, "Yo, like I've got to think about all of this stuff now every day
yeah,
before I eat any food, before I do any activity. I need to figure like I need like literally. I was like, yo, like like my like you. I was literally like my life is different now. Like I didn't have to think about any of that stuff before. I didn't have to think before I eat. I didn't have to think before I go to the gym or before I do anything. Like I didn't have to think about things. But like now, I've got to think about all of those things. And it was literally like it was like I'm about to become a dad, so I'm thinking about all of those kind of things. I'm thinking about him, but then I've got to be thinking about myself because if I'm not looking after myself, how am I going to look after him? And then
yeah,
your like your mind just literally like
yeah,
it did run away with me for a little while, but everything that he said to me
mm,
literally soaked in, like it literally soaked back into me, and I was like, "All right, cool, like Mars, you just got to take charge of your stuff. You've always like because the thing about it is, right, I always looked after myself. I was always going to the gym. I was always like active. I was eating well and all that kind of stuff. But then I think it was just the lockdown just messed me up. Just
yeah,
like it just made me a bit lazy. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't know whether it was that triggered it or like not being able to go out and DJ and do the work that I do. Like I don't know like because obviously they say sometimes like traumas and stress and all
yeah,
those things can
yeah,
trigger these things to happen in it.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, like I was in the hospital, and when I came out of the hospital, I was literally like, you know what, no matter what,
mm,
I'm gonna literally own this because I'm literally not gonna let it like take away from me being the best dad I can be,
yeah,
being the best like husband I can be, being the best Mars I can be. I can't let that happen to me, and like so, I kind of got myself into a mindset, and I was like so on it. I had all the apps, all of the had all the apps, and I was so consistent on it.
yeah,
You got to a point when I remember I was going for my HbA1cs and all that kind of stuff, and they were like, your HbA1cs look like someone who hasn't got
mm,
diabetes because I was literally so regimented on it,
yeah,
and I remember it got to a point when I was injecting I was injecting the insulin before I was eating, and it was just taking me down to a hypo all the time, and I was like,
yeah,
it's weird, like and the doctor went to me when I went in for my checkup. He was like, sometimes when you first get diagnosed with diabetes, your body can start creating,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
start creating a little bit of insulin.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you probably don't need to, you probably don't need
yeah,
to take your fast working one. You can just work on the long lasting one, and just kind of do that. And I've done that, and it literally like it was working for like about I don't know, it's about 2 or 3 months or something like that. Like, and I was like, yo, like I'm cured, I'm
yeah,
cured. This is amazing.
yeah, yeah.
This is amazing. And then all of a sudden it was like, nah,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
like like
yeah,
all
yeah,
all all over the place, all over the place. They made me do like a little test, and it was like, all right, cool, just don't eat any carbs and see what
yeah,
your blood sugar does. And it literally just stayed. It stayed, and I was like, yo, like maybe I just don't need to eat carbs. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
it started going up and down and fluctuating, and I was like, yeah, it's just missed it. Like it tricked me. Do you know what I mean? It
yeah,
tricked me. You
yeah,
got me.
yeah,
You got me good diabetes. But,
yeah.
but yeah.
Actually, going back, one question I want to ask, yeah. So I was diagnosed when I was 10, and this was years ago now. And they got me to test doing an injection using an orange. Do they still do that today?
Oh,
Before
what
you give,
the practice one?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you have to do it on an orange before
Do you
they
know
give you
what?
your
I don't
first
think. Do you
injection?
know? I don't think it was on an orange. Like I think
Oh,
they've got
okay.
like they had like a little like ball thing or something like
Yeah,
that. It was like a little ball
yeah,
they put on the table, and then it was like, okay,
yeah,
so you twist it, you split off two of it, and then you prick it
yeah,
in, and then you press it down, and then
yeah,
so I done on that. It's like, oh, really good. All right, do you want
yeah,
to do
yeah.
one yourself now? And
So
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I don't know, you know. I don't know. I'm scared. Like it's literally the simplest thing
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can do. Like it's the
yeah,
simplest thing you can do, but it's like you like
yeah,
not doing it before. You're so
yeah.
scared, innit? You're so scared. But
What was that first injection like for you then? Like, did you
like,
do it? Sorry if that sounds like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think one of the things with it when they came round like because obviously like I don't know whether or not they have the insulin in a drip or something like that when you have your
yeah,
thing, but then once they take you off that and then they start giving you your thing,
yeah,
you got to kind of do it yourself in it. So I done that one, and I remember doing it and just being like, it's not that bad. I could like I can do this in it. Like I think some people would probably be scared of needles and be like, I can't inject myself, but the
yeah,
needle's not that big. Do you know what I mean? It's not
yeah.
like it's like a massive long needle that you've
Back
got to
in the
put in.
day, it was, you know. You
Hey,
know,
hey,
when
let
I
me
was
tell.
diagnosed, it
Yeah,
was those big. You know, have you seen those orange caps syringes with those thick needles?
yeah,
That's what I was using
yeah.
back in the day. Yeah, yeah, late 90s. That's what on kids.
Oh, that's mad. Do you know what? Like, oh, that's mad. I've got a story. I've got a story
Yeah.
about those needles, but like, I feel like you're gonna ask me a question about it, so I'll tell you it later on.
Do you want to tell it now then? Seeing as you
Right,
brought up, yeah,
I'll tell the
yeah,
story now. I'll tell the story now.
yeah.
All right. So last was it last month? No, no, no. 2 months ago,
Yeah.
I was going away. I had to go abroad to do a TV show, and and literally like it was like the day before no no well it was like a week before I had to go away,
Mm,
but I knew I needed to get my prescription done in it, and like for some reason I would like I always use the NHS app to do my
mm-hmm.
repeat prescription, but where I just moved house, for some reason the GP's office had messed up my prescription, so they didn't have my lantus down on
Yeah.
they didn't have my lantus down on the prescription. So I called up and was like, oh, I need to have my lantus added to the prescription because I'm going away. I'm gonna be away for like 2 weeks. Like I need my medication to go. So literally, I've got to the gone. So they're like, yeah, yeah, that's fine. Gone to the pharmacy to pick it up, and the pharmacy have given me the cartridges, like not the pens. They give me the cartridges, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
literally the day before I've got to go away. So
yeah,
I'm there, and I'm like, I literally have not got
yeah,
I have not I ain't got a clue how to use these. So
yeah,
I've gone to the pharmacy and I'm like, you've given me the wrong thing, and then and they checked it. They're like, nah, you've been prescribed cartridges, and I was like, I've never used cartridges before in my life, like. And then they were like, and then they were like, oh, like, well, like, you're gonna have to call the GP. The GP office closed for prescriptions. My one, it closed at like on Thursday. It closed at 2 o'clock. It was like 3:30. So I was like, all right,
yeah,
cool. Like, I'm gonna have to call 111. So I'm calling 111. like flipping going through all of the thing, going through
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
the thing,
yeah. Those
and then
questions that
yeah,
don't mean
yeah,
anything because you,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Know what I mean, I'm going through all these questions. I'm like, this is like I just need a pen. Like you look, you can see from my
yeah,
previous things
yeah, yeah,
in London, I had pens in it. I've never used like a thing a cartridge before. And then the woman in the pharmacy was like, do you know what, Marcel, like obviously like try and get it sorted out, but here have these needles. And I literally looked at the needles and I was like, they wanted me to put it in,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
draw
yeah,
it, measure out how much I needed,
yeah,
and then put this thing into me. And I was
yeah,
like, yo, I ain't got a clue how to do that. I was getting
yeah,
so stressed out and so panicked that I was like, I don't like I don't know what to do. I was in the pharmacy for like literally it must have been 3 hours while one on one were trying to like get approval to like get them to
yeah,
give me a
yeah,
pen and then
yeah,
thing, and it was just mad. It was just such a long process, but like like again, it's something that you've got to make sure you do, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
can't,
yeah,
like I can't go on
yeah,
holiday and not have what I need
yeah,
to live. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
otherwise, do you know what I mean? Like I'll be going on holiday with like expecting something bad to happen. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
But like these are all the things that you got to think of when
Yeah.
you're diabetic. Do you know what I mean? It's mad.
Yeah, no, no, you're right. And like these things that you can't, you can't account for, but it can mess up your day no matter
Yeah,
what you're doing. And there might be something that happens, and it's as simple as sometimes you might just forget a pen at home or
yeah,
something like that, or you think you've got enough insulin in one pen. You go out, you eat, you realize you haven't got enough. Okay, what am I gonna do now? I've got food in front of me. I'm gonna have to kind of wing it and see what I'm
yeah,
gonna do and whatever. But these are the unseen things of living with with the condition that
yeah.
people don't see and
The,
they don't realize that's going through your mind.
yeah,
Um,
the
yeah,
worst,
go on.
the worst thing is like is when you remember the pen
Yeah,
and then you get down the road and you're like, yo, I ain't got a needle.
needle.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what is
yeah,
the
yeah,
pen's
yeah,
there, but the needle's not there, and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
like, oh, I'm gonna again. You're gonna have to
yeah,
ring. You have to eat. Maybe it's something that's not as carby that you can kind of like.
yeah,
It won't peak you straight away,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then just make sure you can get home in time to like make sure that,
Exactly.
that you're not rising too high. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Um, One question that I wanted to ask, particularly, you said when you're obviously being diagnosed, you mentioned about your mentality, and you were kind of in the mindset of I'm gonna own it from day from day one. Where did that mindset and that mentality come from? Is that just you as a person in terms of everything that you've been through, like in your career? Is that just you as an individual? As this is Marcel, this is who I am. If I have a challenge, I own it, and I go and I just go straight through. Where does that come from?
Do you know what? I feel like it's definitely I've always had the mindset of like no matter what happens in life, like if it's happened, it's happened. You've got it's how you deal with that situation. That's the real question in it. Like because like
Yeah,
because obviously like there might be some people out there who something bad happens and they literally just go into themselves and they can't
yeah,
they can't move past it. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
but I've never been like that. I feel like I've been through so many things in my life, like so many things where you'd be like, oh my god, this is like probably the worst thing that could potentially happen to someone.
yeah,
But it's like working your way through that
yeah,
through that
yeah,
point. And I think the best way to like deal with any situation is to deal with it in a positive way. Do you know what I mean? Is to be proactive in relation to it, because getting diagnosed with it, like I had no idea what it meant. Like I'd heard about diabetes before, but I didn't know what diabetes was.
yeah,
I had no idea it was about your pancreas not creating insulin,
yeah,
and like, I didn't know any of that stuff. So
yeah,
so when I'm being told that I've got that now, it was kind of like, all right, let me read about it, let me find out all the information I need about it,
mm,
and then work out how I'm gonna make my life
mm,
function around this. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's I remember one of the doctors coming up to me and like trying to talk me through things, and I was basically like, just finishing his sentences because I'd literally sat there and read about read about it.
Yeah,
So I was finishing his sentences, and he was like, you're really on top of this, innit?" And I was like, I've got to be like with how my life is, my life. I'm consistently doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, and having the knowledge of how my body would be like reacting to certain things and how I've got to kind of manage it
yeah,
was really important to me because if I didn't I didn't want it to have a hold over me. I wanted I wanted to be in control of my
yeah,
destiny. Do you know what I mean? I want to be in control of how being diabetic affected my life and especially having a little boy
yeah,
on the
yeah,
way. It was like I need to be on job because if
yeah,
because I need to. I want to be the kind of dad that's running around. We're going to the park. We're
yeah,
going
yeah,
playing football. We're doing all these different things. I mean, I didn't want to be like someone who was who was scared to do those things in case like my blood sugar fell that
yeah,
dropped or whatever it is. I wanted to know that I could do those things. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. You touch on a lot there, and thank you for sharing that as well. I think the mentality side is such a key thing because there are people who are, and maybe they're listening now, who are living with type 1 or diabetes, and the fear of, say, doing something because of what might happen, whether it be a hypo or your blood sugar going high,
Mm.
that fear is so strong that it stops people from doing things.
Yeah, 100%.
But for me, my mindset, be quite similar to, is that if I do it, I can deal. I'm going to have to deal with it. If it's a
Yeah,
hypo, I'm going to have to treat it. If it's high, I'm going to have to do whatever. But the journey that I've been on with type 1 has been so up and down. It's taken a long time to get to this point. But now I'm here. I'm like, okay, well, it's you just deal with it.
yeah,
It's life, and I don't mean that in like a just deal with it, get on with it. But if you don't, you end up not doing
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You end up not being the person that you might really want to be. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Because
yeah,
I remember like last year I was doing like a celebrity boxing thing and
yeah, yeah,
literally like before every before the first session I was
yeah,
like I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna have to be sparring, I'm gonna be doing like hour
yeah,
sessions or thing. I don't know I don't know what I need to do because I was like, do I need to eat a lot of like carbs
yeah,
so I've got
yeah,
carbs to burn and then like do I do insulin before I do my
yeah,
training or like all these things I didn't have a clue what to
yeah,
do in it. But but what I found from like exercising and those kind of things, like I do like to go to the gym. I do like
yeah,
to do like
yeah,
exercise, and I do like a lot of activities and stuff like that. But it's like there's certain things. So if you're doing weight training
yeah,
pushes your sugar up.
yeah,
Like I didn't know that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so I'd be going to the gym,
yeah,
loading up on things so I've got energy, and then
yeah,
my sugar's going through the roof
yeah,
because it pumps your blood up. But then when you
yeah,
do cardio, it brings it back down again,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like it's finding the thing because before I used to go to the gym, I used to do cardio first, then do my weights. But
yeah,
now I've got to go do the weights, then do the
yeah,
cardio to bring it down again. And it's like it's like working out your body. But these are things that you learn from
yeah,
trying them. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You've got to attempt to do certain things
yeah,
to be able
yeah,
to work out how to manage those areas of your life if you do want to be thing because I remember like turning down shows and stuff like that because I was like, oh, like I don't think I can do that. Like I was like,
yeah,
and then one of the shows I turned down originally, literally is one of the shows I've just done, and
yeah,
I've literally I've been able to do it well.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah, no, no, I agree, fully agree, and that is a nice segue. So, in different points, you've mentioned about the kind of entertainment industry, and
yeah.
obviously, you've been in that industry for a number of years. Can you just give us, for people who don't know, just a brief kind of, and I know I mentioned a bit at the start, but how you got into the industry, um, and then we'll talk on about what it's like being in the industry with
Mm.
living with type 1 diabetes. But yeah, how did you get into the entertainment industry?
Yeah, so when we was 15 years old, me and like nine other boys from my school, we was all into garage. We was
Yeah,
garage
yeah,
MCs. We had a DJ,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we basically wanted to make a song to perform at like the girls in our year's birthday parties. So
yeah,
like, oh, like yeah, like the Blazin Squad are gonna
yeah, yeah,
DJ in it, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
like
yeah,
we'll come on, do our song. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah,
being
yeah,
an MC at
yeah,
school,
yeah,
like you know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing it for reasons, but
yeah,
but then, but then, literally the song that we made, we made it with a couple of producers, and they sent it off to a few different labels. They didn't even tell us. They sent it off, and then the next thing we knew, there was East West, which is Atlantic Records now,
yeah,
and Virgin Records wanted to sign us, and we was like, what? Like this is weird.
yeah,
Like we made one song, and then the producer was like, oh, like, do you want to come in and make some more songs for free? It was like,
yeah,
all right, cool, let's do that. Made like a little EP,
yeah, yeah,
and then yeah, like Atlantic signed us. So we got signed at 15, released Crossroads at 16,
yeah, yeah.
and then yeah, the rest was history. Had two gold albums,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
done
So
arena
I
tours and all
just
that
have
kind
to
of stuff.
jump in here. Like you just skip over Crossroads, yeah. So if you grew up in London, well, obviously you were. It was. I'm just saying London because I grew up
Yeah,
in London, but I know it was much wider than London. That was iconic. That was one of like that was one of the songs. Everyone around kind of that kind of. It was like mid to late 2000, like coming up
yeah. It was,
2010. Yeah, about
no, it was it
20
was it
10.
was 2000 and 2002.
Was it 2002?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. See, I'm
2002.
aging myself in this. I forgot. No, yeah, I was 16 then. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was eight. I thought I was.
2002.
My maths was off. but yeah, that was just iconic. And forget kind of the intro to Hit 'Em Up and that lyric and any other like when starts on Too Many Man. The lyric that always sits on my in my mind is who's that get off the
Get the
train.
train.
That yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna sing it now, but that lyric that I think for many that was just iconic because that's what was happening at the time.
Yeah,
People's chains were just getting jacked,
yeah, yeah.
and everyone was wearing Avrex jackets, and you knew
Yeah.
somebody had an Avrex jacket. You kind of it's going to be a bit of trouble for you. Like that's just so iconic. But
Yo, that's jokes.
form part of
Yeah,
childhood, man.
that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. So like obviously we got signed up at a very young age, very young age, and like and then like kind of like navigating that
Yeah,
industry
yeah,
for I think we done it. I think the band was together for like 4 or 5 years, and then
yeah,
everyone kind of like disbanded off and went and done
yeah,
their
yeah,
own individual things. And then literally it must have been about, I don't know, like, because I think I was 31 when I done Love Island, so probably
yeah,
about 10 years after the band split, that I got asked if I wanted to go on Love Island. Then
yeah,
so I've done that. Um, I've done that, and yeah, like the rest was just history. Like it just
yeah,
like another go on the fame on the fame ride. So
yeah.
yeah, man.
And so, has anything changed since you've been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in terms of either, maybe it hasn't, but do people treat you any differently? But then I know that you mentioned before there was a show that you were in two minds about doing,
Yeah.
you didn't do, but you've now done. So there was some sort of change there because I presume before you would have just done it.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
so previously, like I would have, like when shows were getting offered to me, if they were physical, if they were like whatever it is, I'd be really up for just doing any of them because I just love a challenge in it.
yeah,
But I remember like it was the year I got diagnosed, and the offer kind of came in, and I was like I don't know if I'm prepared to do it because like I'd just been diagnosed. Like I wasn't like I hadn't really been back into the gym doing anything really physical
yeah,
because I was more like kind of like thinking about like because obviously I've got a baby on the way. I was doing a show around that, and it was like just like just being just trying to be like normal mask, like, do you know what I mean? Just trying to be everyday mask, and just maintaining my the routine that I kind of created for myself in regards to eating, doing my insulin, checking my blood sugar, doing that thing, and just getting myself into that normal frame of mind. At the same time, trying to like decorate the room, decorate the baby's room, doing the normal kind of things. And then I remember when it came through, I was like, I don't think I'm I literally, I remember saying to my I remember saying to my publicist, like, yo, like I, like I don't really think it's for me, and like obviously like I'm diabetic and I don't think I can do it. And and like it was bad because I remember seeing some of my friends doing the show, and I was like, it would have been a good thing to do, but yeah, like I'm not sure. And then over that time, I was like, do you know what, like I'm not gonna let myself like not be me. Do you know what I mean? Like this is my job. Like this is my role. Then like I need to maintain who I am, and I can't be like yeah, you can't ask Mars to do that. Like he's diabetic. Do you know what I mean? Like that mindset is like, it doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Because like being a diabetic shouldn't define me. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't define what I can do and who I am and the things that I can achieve. It should be something that yeah, like I'm diabetic, but like I'm a normal person. Do you know what I mean? Like I can literally do anything that anyone else can do. And I think it got to a point when I was like, they asked me for the boxing thing, and I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna attempt to do this thing. I've done my research. I spoke to my diabetic nurse about what I need to do to like make sure that I've got the energy that I need to do, how I need to train, and all these different things. I've got all the information. It's about me making it work. Do you know what I'm saying? And literally, I'd like done the fight, done the training, mad training camp. It was intense, but I done it. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Anything that comes up, if it's a challenge, if it's like a race, if I've got to flipping wrestle someone, whatever I've got to do, like I'm gonna go for it, because I've got opportunities to do random crazy things, and if I'm turning them down, I'm just gonna make my life not what I want my life to be. Do you know what I mean? I want to be able to enjoy myself. I want to be able to like enjoy doing things and doing things that are out of the box. Like I want to do those things. So yeah, like I just kind of like just said to myself, you know what, like Mars, this is the industry you're in. Do you know what I mean? If you turn like if you shut down things and turn everything down, the your work, your industry, they're not gonna go to you for things. So you just gotta like own it, innit? So yeah, like that's what I did. And the thing about it is, all of the shows and all of the teams on those shows, they'll do whatever they can to to support you in those things, isn't it? Like because they obviously want you on, they wanted me on shows, so they kind of like
Yeah.
made it
Yeah, 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 yeah,
accessible
yeah,
for me. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because that's what they've got to do. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. They want you. They want you for a reason. They've reached
Yeah,
out to you because they want you.
yeah,
But then,
yeah,
yeah,
and the
go
thing
on.
about it is, everyone like because I've been so out like open about me being
Mm,
diabetic and all of those things.
yeah,
Everyone, all the people that are trying to book me and all that stuff, they all know
mm,
I'm diabetic, innit? And like
yeah,
they wouldn't want me on a show if I
yeah,
couldn't do it, but they know
yeah,
they probably had other people with diabetes on those shows before, so they're
yeah,
like, yo, like he can do it, like, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So if they want me, like,
yeah, yeah.
let's do it.
I think that's what you said then. I think is just really, it's really powerful because I take away from that. There's the part of they want you, but then diabetes can have this thing of putting doubt in our mind,
Mm.
saying, "Oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't, but then you forget they want you.
Yeah,
Like I
literally.
am me, they want me. Like let me go and do it. Not, but then the diabetes is just there. Like,
Yeah,
should you? But the fact that you have gone and done it means that you're then out there, and like people, there are going to be people who are living with type 1
yeah,
or diabetes in general who will then see you and be like, oh, okay, well, if Marcel can do it,
do it.
well,
Yeah,
then
something
what can
like
I
yeah,
do, kind of thing.
yeah,
And
literally.
sometimes that kind of thought process can be quite flippant, and people can be like, oh, but it doesn't matter. But it does, because I think if you look back to what we said earlier on about Ian Wright, maybe when he was playing football, he wasn't thinking about, oh, I'm going to be inspiring these young black men growing up. But he
Exactly.
was. And if you look at him now, I'm sure like you're in the industry
Yeah.
and there are other black men in the industry who are Arsenal fans. And I've seen like following social media, like they're like, oh, it's Ian Wright. Like, do you know what you did for me growing up? And it's the same here as well. And I've just made a note. I think with you and the profile that you've got, where you're in these spaces, and you are so vocal about living with type 1 diabetes, it is the inspiration for younger. I'm going to say younger black men or black children, black boys living with type 1 diabetes, but people living with type 1 diabetes in
In general.
general.
Yeah.
And I think for me, when I look back at growing up, so I was diagnosed at 10, went through all of those years. I didn't see anyone who looked like me living with type 1,
Yeah.
but I would see people who look like me in sport and da da da. But to have that kind of, oh, he looks like me, he's got type 1 diabetes like me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's someone else out there just like, you know what it's like kind of growing up.
100%.
Representation matters, and it will always matter. And just want to move on. So you've mentioned throughout our conversation, you mentioned about, I'm going to say fatherhood, but I want to broaden that. And you've mentioned about family. So you mentioned your fiance and your now wife and being a dad and stuff. So how has that side of life been for you throughout this kind of the journey with type 1? So I know you were obviously diagnosed at a point when your son wasn't born, but maybe you don't have to go there. But what was that like after he was born? But then also, how has your wife's support and kind of family support helped you along over these past couple of years?
Yeah, so like I feel like my wife has literally been she's been amazing. Like literally, she's always the one who's like, Mars, like, have you done your lantus? Have you done your thing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm. But yeah, like it's I think because there's been so like in the last 2 years. So obviously we had our son, and we had our son. He's a lockdown baby, but we had him, and then we was filming shows and all that kind of stuff, and it was like it was good to have that support, because she's always there, remind me of certain things that I need to do and certain things that I need to remember and all that kind of stuff. And then she's putting stuff in her bag, so like if we're out and I think she's got one in her bag and all that kind of stuff. So she's always been very supportive. But obviously, like, sometimes when your blood sugar's going up and down and all that kind of stuff, you can get a little bit like you can get a little bit like your mood.
Your mood changes, and
The mood changes in, and I feel like sometimes she when I am a little bit like low, and my energy is not fully up, sometimes she might forget that probably having a hypo, and like and I'm not
it's
in a mood or
nothing to
whatever
do
it is.
with
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not you at the moment. It's the
Yeah,
diabetes at that moment.
diabetes
So I've been
and
there.
that
Yeah,
moment. You know
trust
what I
me.
mean?
Yeah,
So
I've
it's
been there.
like,
I've been there.
obviously like as time goes on, like
Yeah,
it's got better. But I think at the start it was a bit like she'd be like, oh, like, why are you in a mood with me? I'm like, oh, babes, I'm not in a mood. Like, it's just I like my blood's just low. Do you know what I mean? And then
yeah,
sometimes when your blood's high, it has the same effect, and it's
yeah,
like it's just trying to stay in that green
yeah.
balance. Like, do you know what I mean? But
And I was going to just quickly jump. And sometimes you don't want to tell people as well what's going on, because
yeah,
if you tell them every single time something is happening, they can then start to worry about it. But you know that I'm dealing with it and it's
yeah,
okay. But then there are times when I'm like, oh, I need to tell you what's going
yeah,
on, kind of thing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Sorry, go on.
100%,
Yeah,
100%. And like and I think having my son, he's literally been like I feel like he's been one of the main reasons why I've been so sorry, I've been so focused in regards to making sure that
yeah,
I'm doing what I'm doing, because
yeah,
like I've like one of my friends' mum-in-laws, like she's got diabetes, but she doesn't maintain the she doesn't like actively like check it
yeah,
everything. She'll do it like once or twice there, and like
yeah,
and like I don't want to fall into that. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that I'm always on top of it because I wanna
Yeah.
just be in the best moods and
Yeah.
be have the best energies and all those kind of things for the little man. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I've shared it on many kind of episodes on here before. But so, as I said, I've been living with type 1 26 years. And so I live with complications of type 1. So I've got diabetic retinopathy. And I had a kidney transplant in 2018.
oh wow,
And so part of that is so where I was diagnosed at 10, my teenage years, I just wanted to fit in like everyone. So
yeah,
it was just chicken and chips after school with a panda pop, and that.
yeah,
But not injecting and not worrying about it, and just doing that. And also there was a denial about having type 1 because I was diagnosed so young, and I just wanted to be like everyone else.
yeah,
But that sort of stuff, it does catch up with you further down the line. And so where you talk about her and use her as an example, I'm like, I can relate to that because that was me at one point. But I do know that you have to move out of that space mentally in order to get better.
yeah,
So where you talk about the fact that you've got the acceptance of it, I think that's the key part to managing the condition is learning to accept that you
yeah,
have it. Doesn't mean that further down the line things might
yeah, of
go
course,
a bit off, but once you've got that to that place of acceptance, it makes it all easier. And I think for many people that's such a challenge for them. But hearing you talk about it, like I was happy to hear you talk about and have that level of acceptance because it's not easy for people for people at all.
no, of
And
course.
yeah, I
and
just think
and that's kind of the thing because do you know when I think back through my life there were moments that like that semi seemed like they could have been me having hypos and doing because I remember like I was at my cousin's baptism, like it was a baking day.
yeah,
I was in church, all of a sudden literally blacked out. I was outside the church like and I was like, what happened? And then like, oh, like you fainted. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, and then like flipping, I remember I was getting my first tattoo done. I was in Barbados in the hot thing. Literally like the moment it went into my thing, passed out. Like, and then like they had to give me a Lucozade to like kind of like get my sugars up. And I'm like, were they signs that I was that it was there? But for some reason, I just managed to like maintain my way through. Do you know what I mean? Like there's, but but obviously me going back to those points. Obviously, like if having it from a young age must just be like a totally different thing to getting it at my age. Because obviously when you're in your 30s, you kind of like understand things more, and you understand. You know what I mean, you understand who you are in it. When you're young, you're still going through learning about who you want to be and who you want to become and how you want to do things and all those different things. And having diabetes there with you must just be like it can obviously feel like oh like I've I'm different to everyone else like but like you're not in it like you just got you know what I mean you just got kind of
yeah,
like work it through, but it's obviously hard, isn't it, when you're young.
definitely. And that's how it felt. And it got to the point of where I was like, oh, you know what? I just need to take insulin to stay alive. I'm not going to do any of this testing stuff. So I was like, if I take insulin, I'll stay alive. And that was my logic. Obviously, it doesn't work out like that, but that's the logic at that age. But then I also think on the flip side, being diagnosed older must have its challenges as well because you've had such a long period of living your life, like you said,
Yeah,
a certain way, and you know who you are and what you've done, and then the next day you're not that person anymore.
yeah, you're different.
Whereas
Yeah,
if you grow up with it, you're growing as a person
yeah,
with it.
that's
So
true.
it has its
Yeah,
challenges
yeah,
either way. Um, just a quick one. Um, I know we said an hour. You're right for time.
yeah. That's cool. That's fine. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay, cool. I'll just edit that bit out. So diabetes and technology. So you mentioned at the start you use quite a bit of tech.
Yeah,
Um, and we are recording kind of late October, and I saw you had a post. You work with JDRF.
yeah,
Talking about technology and how how when it comes to kind of the tech and the what's the word I'm looking for? The
The
adhesive. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah. How about it? Kind of, it's they're all kind of bright white and they
Yeah.
don't match skin tones. And can you just talk a bit more on that?
Yeah, of course, man. So obviously, like I've got wait, that's the wrong arm. I've got like
Yeah,
a freestyle. I've got a freestyle Libra,
yeah,
and literally, like when I first got it, I didn't have any patches. I didn't have any covers
yeah,
for them. I was walking around with it on,
yeah,
and obviously against my complexion because I've got quite a dark skin
yeah,
tone.
yeah, yeah,
Literally, anywhere I went, like people would look at me and be like, what's that like?
yeah,
Are you a smoker? Are you
yeah,
a
yeah,
thing? And
yeah,
it's like, and you're getting asked these questions, and you're like, no, like I've got diabetes, and then when you say that, it's like,
yeah,
so what does that do?
yeah,
Oh, like,
yeah,
does that give you insulin, or does you know what I mean? And you're going into this conversation with like someone who you probably don't even know, and then
yeah,
and you're just having you're being asked questions about things that are personal
yeah,
to you in it, like, do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And I feel like now I've got these patches,
yeah,
and like again, they're not like, it's not my skin tone. It's like it's a
yeah,
big black patch, but it's more discreet than having like
yeah,
a
yeah,
like
yeah,
a like a small white thing on
yeah,
you, isn't it? So like so I was talking to JDRF just to basically just to talk about the potential of maybe like because obviously like me at my age, I own my diabetes and I walk around
yeah,
with it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
I feel like younger kids and people at
mm,
school and all of those kind of
mm,
things, if they had like patches or actual like coloured Libras to
yeah,
like
yeah,
semi match their skin tones, they
yeah,
probably feel a bit more like what's the word? Not normal, but like
it
it
it would
just be
be
like a bit
yeah,
more
yeah,
discreet for them. Do you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Because getting asked questions about your
yeah,
condition when sometimes you might not want to talk about it.
yeah,
Sometimes you might not
yeah,
want to go into a big explanation about how
yeah,
diabetes works and all of those things. Sometimes you just want to just be
yeah,
like just do your day to day thing. And like I
yeah,
think having patches, maybe getting patches prescribed where they'll
yeah,
send me like your skin tone, or there's like 4 or 5 different kind of like
yeah, yeah,
things that you can pick which one
yeah,
you want to get with your future prescriptions. That would be something that could be, do you know what I mean,
yeah,
like
yeah. Because
easily done.
but they have that with plasters now, and
Yeah,
that's
literally,
taken
literally,
years, like
literally.
years. They got that with plasters. And when it comes to tech, and you mentioned the Freestyle Libre, how has that been for you? When did you first start using tech? And yeah,
Do you know what?
what was like your feet?
So I first got my freestyle Libra. I think it must have been, I don't know, like I think it was about 6 weeks or some, or 6 or 8 weeks into, not weeks, I think it's about 6 months into me getting me being diagnosed with it, because obviously like speaking to the doctors at the hospital, like I explained my job, and like I was consistently up and down doing different things, and they were like, maybe you'd be interested in getting like a glucose reader,
Mm,
which would basically make it a bit easier for you to kind of do things, because when you're traveling and all of those kind of things, it's sometimes hard to stop, check your blood sugar, do everything you need to do, like so I had to do like a little course, and then they kind of added it to my prescription, which was like, I can't lie, like it was uh, one of the best things
mm,
that made being a diabetic easier, because doing the finger pricks and like that process of getting your box
mm-hmm.
out, while your little like your little pouch thing
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
pulling out the
yeah.
thing, getting your glucose strip, putting your glucose in, pricking your finger, not enough blood coming out of this finger,
Yeah,
so then you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
do the other finger, you try and touch it, then it says error, and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo, just
yeah.
please, like I can't be bothered to do that
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
So then you
yeah,
pull it out, put a
yeah,
new one in, do it
yeah,
again, do the other
yeah,
finger, finally get your reading,
yeah,
and then doing that, it just turned it, like it was such a long
yeah,
process, like and that was one of the things that kind of got like a bit frustrating at the start,
yeah,
because at the start I was doing it a lot, and then your fingers start hurting, you're getting the little dots on your fingers, and you're like, nah, man, anything to make it easier would be great. And then like
yeah,
when he said that to me, I was like, yeah, like let's try it. And literally, like it's the best thing in the world. It's literally
yeah,
my freestyle Libre is the best thing that's been given to me since the point of being a diabetic.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like so,
yeah.
yeah, man.
No, no,
Like
that's good.
big up the tech, and it's amazing the things that they're creating. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it's literally amazing. So you know what I mean? Like and like 100%, they can definitely do the simplest things to make it
yeah.
even more
Like easier
more.
to manage and
Yeah,
stuff. And
exactly,
even
exactly.
just looking at, like, for me, obviously, it's for a number of years, but the way that technology has changed over the past 5 years, 5 to 10 years, has been crazy. It's been mad, and I think this is one of the areas or one of the health conditions where technology is so important to managing the condition,
Yeah, for
and
real.
actually the condition, probably the condition where the person living with it does more with managing it than the healthcare professional as well.
Yeah,
And so that need for the technology is there, and obviously there are you can have conversations around access to technology, and we're fortunate we live in the UK, and
mm,
it's not as obviously other areas of the world. There's
yeah,
a struggle for it, but technology's made such a big difference. Like, for me, I got the Libre. Do you have the two?
yeah. I got the two. I got the two.
So I used to be, and sometimes occasionally, my biggest fears was going to sleep and having a hypo in my sleep and
Yeah,
not waking up. But with the alarms, that's put all of that away, and that's
yeah,
one of the things that has made it a lot easier for me. Obviously, being woken up by alarm at half two, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, actually, you're a dad, so it's different for you. You're used to waking up in the middle of the night.
yeah, yeah,
I ain't got children, so I'm not used to it. But then you just hear this alarm, and you're just up, and you're just like, I need to eat, I need to drink, or whatever. But yeah, the technology is mad, and just look, and hopefully it continues to improve people's lives living with type 1. Um, so Marcel, just before we wrap up, what advice would you give to anyone who's listening living with diabetes?
I feel like my main advice would be like, don't let diabetes rule your life, innit? Like you're like you're the protagonist of your story, innit?
Mm.
Like having diabetes is just one of the factors that you as the lead role in your life has to have. Do you know what I mean? Like you know, like Superman, he's got the kryptonite and all of these different things. You got diabetes, but it's not gonna stop you in it. Do you know what I mean? Like literally, you can do anything that you want to do. Take it from me, any challenge, any obstacle, anything that you think, oh, like I don't think I can do that because of my condition, you can do it.
Mm.
And it's literally a fact. You can literally do anything you want to do.
Yeah,
You just got to make sure that you're in charge of it. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if you're in charge of your diabetes and in charge of maintaining it and managing it, you can manage to do anything that you want to do, and that's what I'd say. So just back yourself, and you know what I mean, diabetes is not. It's you know what I mean. It's not the end of the world.
yeah,
It's literally just like something that we live with.
yeah. True, true. Um, and if people want to find you online, where can they find you? Tell them everything.
So if you want to find me and want to see what's going on in my life, you can obviously follow me on Instagram at Marcel_Rocky B. If you want to follow me and my wife's channel on YouTube, it's the Somervilles. And yeah, like obviously, like I'm going on tour with the Blazin Squad at the end of the year. If you want to get tickets, there's a link on my page. And yeah, like other than that, like the music, the TV shows and all that kind of stuff, you'll be able to get all the information from my Instagram. So and there's a little link tree on there, so you can get a little link to all of the different bits. So yeah, man,
Cool.
hit me up.
Cool. I'll include a link to everything in the show notes. So yeah, people can click on the show notes and yeah, go check out the work that Marcel is doing. And thank you, Marcel. It's been a
Man.
really, really good
We gotta do it
conversation.
again. We gotta do it again, brother.
Yeah, I'm
I've enjoyed the chat, man. I've enjoyed the chat.
definitely. We will definitely. And what I take away from this conversation is a lot to do with your mentality and, as I mentioned, the ownership and the acceptance of living with living or being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, but also the part which I think is key as well is the knowledge. And you were doing all of the reading when you first got
Mm,
diagnosed, and knowledge equals power equals
that's
better
true.
decisions. And I think that's come through in terms of when you talk about your life with type 1 and how it's been. And I would say as well, and I really touched on it earlier, about the fact that you are in the position that you're in, openly talking about type 1 diabetes. I'm going to call you the Ian Wright of type 1 diabetes, because you laugh, but I think it's so important that you've got that platform and that profile, and you're actively talking about the condition, and it's helping so many in the process as well. And just wish you all of the best and the success, and that will come to you. And thank you for taking the time to join us and speak to us today.
Oh, thank you, Dan, man. I appreciate that, man. I love that, man. Thank you.